Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be giving you my review and critique of a television show on investigation discovery. It's entitled Fear Thy Neighbor. Now, I believe this is a recent show that just started on investigation discovery. There's at this time of this video, there's been like 4 episodes or so. Um, it's actually, I really like this show because what it does is, well, first, as far as its premise, what it basically focuses on, of course, by the title, it's about, situations where where some roommates do put other roommates in a strong state of fear or trepidation. And the thing about this is that what it does, it gives us some insight into understanding, you could say, what we do when we're maybe when we should, or what we should do when we search for a roommate. If we're in a situation we can't afford where we're staying at and we need help with the bills, you don't want to just abruptly do something and be, I guess you could say, impulsive or impetuous about it just for the sake of having somebody to pay the bills. And the thing is, on one of the episodes I saw, they were talking about there was somebody in giving them, like, somebody giving commentary on it, and stated that, well, we need to be adults and we need to do our checking when we're supposed to people. The thing about that was, if I'm not mistaken, in that episode, it was one, there was like an 18 or 19-year-old girl that was looking for a place to stay, and she was apparently going to go share the bills with the guy that was staying there. The only thing about certain situations like this is that you have somebody coming in, somebody very young, 18 or 19. They haven't, a lot of those people haven't been alive enough for a long enough time to establish, as far as credibility as a person, or establish in some cases a criminal background. So in other words, you can do some checking on some of these people, and something in nothing may nothing may come up. They have something on mylife.com, but just because nothing comes up, and especially if it's a person that's relatively young, it doesn't mean that they're not going to do something. So that statement about, we got to do some checking, yeah, you could do that, and it works in a lot of cases. But going back to the point and reviewing this show, the thing about it is, we do need to do make sure we're doing due diligence and checking on these people. And remember, a lot of people could put on a superficial charm and pacify you and do the things that they're supposed to do just to get their foot in the door. It's kind of like when you have some of these job applicants that go somewhere, and they answer all the questions right, or you have these people that get apply for apartments. They say they're going to do due diligence and follow those ordinances or provisions or rules or what have you, and then they contradict themselves and go completely the other way once they get their foot in the door. So you have to really be very prudent. And the thing I would, this basically tells us that, in extreme cases, people can become very volatile, extremely volatile, and resort to murder or extremely violent action that would cause a severe physical harm and trauma, injury to another individual. So, and it also goes the other way too, where you could, if you're a person that's looking for a place to stay, of course, conversely, it's imperative to we do some checking on some on that person that you may be staying with. So it should be like a mutual thing where both people really need to do their checking on somebody. And you could also, and if you go online and you don't see, you're not able to pick up a criminal background, another thing you can do just to be doubly safe, of course, is to maybe search the person, Google, and there's something like what you do, like you type in text, and then you put the name of the person in quotes, I think it is. You might want to confirm that for that online, but there is a way where you can actually, you could, anything, when you do that, anything that's in, any kind of written material, on that person will come up, and I believe that might go a little bit deeper than simply just typing that person's name in question in the Google search box. So these are some things that you have to really look at, and it kind of lets us know that I think really virtually anybody can turn on us at any given point in time. And the thing about it is, it's always just it becomes so critical to try to do, an extensive check on people when there's somebody new coming into your life. And again, that's still not a foolproof, might not be a foolproof way of really determining or ascertaining the character or credibility of somebody, because you could have somebody too that could be very scrupulous and hasn't committed any crimes, and then somehow they might just inexplicably go off on somebody. So it just lets you know that there are certain things that you have to look at in person, even if they have no crimes online. Maybe there's a way you can somehow find out if there's been any history of any very severe mental and or emotional issues. So those are some other things to look at. But the show really does, I think, enlightens a lot of people, and it really, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have, few people maybe, well, few that might actually see this video may actually have been in scenarios like that, where they've taken people in. Sometimes it's even out of compassion or kindness, and they've had to face some repercussions because of that. I was watching one of the episodes, and there was some woman that took another person in. I think it was like a friend that she worked with, and she did it out of kindness and compassion, out of the goodness of her heart. And this person became, very lackadaisical, lethargic, didn't really do well. I don't know if it was so much, it was more, the person, I think, still did work, maybe not lackadaisical or lethargic, but the person that was brought into the home was really, you could say, being lazy regarding paying bills and doing her fair share of what needed to be done. She was like she was some compulsive, slot machine player or something. That person that wasn't really chipping in hardly anything in terms of paying the bills. So there are things that you really need to be careful of. It's better to, and I'm not saying that it should be that, to stereotype by any means, I think, but people at a certain age, if they're generally if you get somebody as a roommate, a prospect, it's better on average if they're 30 years old or over, if you're just designating it by age, or you're using that, I should say, not just by, but designating that as one of the things or criteria, if you can. And because an older person, generally on average, and again, I'm not stereotyping, generally on average, will be more responsible and more respectful regarding bills and maintenance of the place, to keep just simply things like picking up after themselves and not leaving the place to shovel, doing what they're supposed to do, and being proper in what needs to be done as a roommate. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.